Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. Please check out the It's Always Personal podcast, which is out there on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You saw what the title was, so you know that I'm talking about the season 3 finale of HBO's Succession, that's kind of led by Brian Cox, the patriarch of the Logan family, with his 3 kids. Kendall, I keep saying 3 and leaving out Connor. Connor, the oldest, Kendall, played by Jeremy Strong, Shiv or Siobhan, played by Sarah Snook, and then Kieran Culkin as Romulus or Roman. The final episode was called All the Bells Say. Interestingly, there's only 9 episodes this season, I believe, versus 10. I'll get to that in just a second. I did want to call attention to a couple of things. One of them is related to Succession. So I've said it before, I prefer to watch shows where I see people that look like me. I prefer to support shows that have diversity. I think everybody who's of whatever ethnicity you belong to, you want to see stories about yourself, right? Or people in your community. I guess Succession, early season 1 and 2, we really only had the assistant to Kendall. But, let me get to what I wanted to call attention to. There's an article out there on a site called refinery29.com. And there's an article out there by Kathleen Newman Bremang, Bremang. And she has the title of it is, of course, Succession fails its Black women characters. Is Succession. Interesting read. Sanaa Lathan was brought on to Succession this year. Those of us who are fans of Sanaa Lathan, you might have been really, you might have held a lot of anticipation for her role. Sanaa only had about 4 episodes, maybe. Read the article. I don't totally disagree with the premise of the article, but when I watch a YouTube channel like Black Enterprise, and all the years that I subscribed to the Black Enterprise magazine, we already knew that it was probably monthly where there were stories about the lack of Black and brown faces in the C-suite at all of these different, corporations and multinational corporations out there. We knew this. So I when I was getting into Succession, it was no surprise to me. And it's a family business. You know what I'm saying? So it was no surprise to me that there were no prominent Black characters, or high-ranking Black characters in the show. It would be like a show about the Dallas Cowboys and the team president be a brother. Like, that's just not gonna happen. So check that article out. Before I get back to the season 3 finale thoughts, there's also another interesting article out here right now on The Undefeated on ESPN.com. The real reason the Barbershop Scene in Harlem on Amazon is so controversial. Subtitle, A Black Space Can Be Both Scared and Harmful. This article is by David Dennis Jr. Harlem is probably going to be a polarizing show. I'm on like episode 4 or something, and it's not really my thing, but I saw this barbershop scene in here that Dennis Jr. talks about, and I think it's a very interesting discussion for the Black community and where we are with our class, our general respect in our day-to-day walks. And I don't even really agree with what Dennis Jr. says in a way, but two interesting articles with important topics being discussed. I'll go back in further. I'll go into those more on the podcast. It's always personal, but I wanted to talk about those two things because one, going back to that first article about the black characters on Succession. What do we do or what is our feelings when we go to look at the shows that primarily feature black characters or are black created? What's the quality of any of this shit? Most often. What's the quality of most of it? What is it about? You tell me. Getting to All the Bells. I think that's what it was, right? I only watched it once. Damn, did I just close it out? Here we go. I'm sorry. All the Bells Say. I thought the last couple of, I said it a couple episodes ago, season 3 was a bit up and down for me. I said why I thought it may have been up and down and it might have been COVID related. Maybe they couldn't shoot certain scenes a certain way. I don't know. But I felt like, I got a little tired and exhausted with the constant shots fired at one another. And, while they had them in these clusters for a prolonged period of time and they just were insulting the hell out of one another. Like, what's going on with the rest of the Succession world? But, we started this season with Kendall opposing the family or, primarily opposing his father. And then, of course, all of the others were going to be aligned with their father because as Tom told Kendall, I see you get effed all the time and your father might be a dinosaur, but I've never seen him get the chair pulled from underneath him. I'm rocking with him. So here in the finale, I think it all boils down, the final scene. I mean, it's a 55-minute episode or whatever, but it really all boils down to what we see in the final 5 to 10 minutes where Shiv and Roman, especially Roman, he took this hard. Kendall sitting back like, I told y'all he was a piece of shit. Why you think I've been trying to wrestle the company away from this man? And what's going on is Logan realizes this dog won't hunt no more. You trying to do this thing with ATN and this whatever this conglomerate is, Waystar Royco, and all your TV studio and all your writers and all this equipment, and the buildings and all of this shit. Now, exactly what I'm sitting here talking into a smartphone is all you need to cater your whole business to is to keep eyes on this device right here. And that's what Mattson, the CEO of Gojo, is like, you can't acquire me. You need to let me buy you. And we take things to the next level. And so Logan realizes it's been a great run, but it's time for me to take the money. It's time to take the bag. But if in doing so, he would force his children out into the real world. And so when he's in here making, finalizing this deal, he's really betrayed his kids so that he can win. One of the great lines in this series, in this episode was, he said, you guys come in here with your guns blazing, and then you realize that they turned to sausages. And he tells them, he gives them a couple of F-offs, and these F-offs sound sincere. Like, this ain't the leave me or get out of my face. This is the true meaning of F-off. Like, I'm going to win. Screw y'all. Go out here and get it out the mud the way that I did. And I'm winning because I got the best deal possible. And I move on. And he went and did his thing with the mother to redo the divorce terms or whatever it was, so that the kids couldn't join together. I told you they were going to need Kendall. And while Kendall was all bad, he's down bad at the beginning of this episode, he does come up with the idea. I thought he was going to be able to figure out how to broker the deal with Gojo. But he ended up having the idea and the know-how of how they could work together and be a super majority or whatever and stop and block the sale of Waystar Royco to Gojo. They get in there, and of course, Logan is still 2 steps ahead of everybody, or so we think. That's the cliffhanger that we're left with. And he really reveals himself to be the true, self-centered bastard that he is, and no one is safe. I thought the conversation with Roman on the way to go see Madsen was interesting when he was trying, that's as fatherly as he's gonna be. Hey, go out here and get you some, go out here and chase you some skirt and knock down a couple of women and fix yourself. You're like, are you okay? Do you want to fix yourself or do you want to be this creep? What's wrong with you? That's as fatherly as he's gonna be. You can see he was really done with trying to work with Shiv. Like Shiv's ambition, her audacity or whatever. For some reason, he didn't really rock with it. And so I said this on a podcast that I haven't published yet. I haven't posted, but I feel like I'm watching some very interesting and revealing stuff about white families. And I'm not the one to throw around privilege, white privilege, and all of that type of stuff. But when you look at the episode where they were choosing the next president, who would be the party, the guy to run for president, I feel like I'm seeing a lot of stuff in this series and it's talked about in this article that I was just telling you about on Refinery 29. She touches on some of this stuff. But I felt, and we just saw what happened with the former administration, that family, that trio of kids. I'm sitting here now watching different candidacies or campaigns, and it's not even the person talking about who they are, this little aside on politics, but their whole platform, the first word is under their name is pro-Trump. It ain't talking about what their positions are or anything. It's, I am pro-Trump, vote for me. That's all you need to know. So I look at this and what's going on in the real world right now, and I feel like the creators and the writers of the show are doing too much in the opinion of somebody. Like, you putting all our business out into the streets. So anyway, man, I think the season again was up and down, but I think it found its footing here late in the season. I enjoyed it. The story itself was kind of somewhat so-so, but the dialogue continues to be some of the best writing on TV, in my opinion. And it is a little difficult to follow some of the financial maneuverings and the shareholders and the mergers and acquisitions. It is a bit difficult to follow some of that. But again, the final scene here with the father versus the 3 kids trying to be united. And Connor kind of still being outside of everything. It all came together and made for an interesting season. So again, let me know your thoughts on it if you have any, or if you care to share any. I got to get on off here. Thanks for rocking with me. Pay me no mind, sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Peace.